Why are you always chosen as a target by narcissists? Why do things always happen to you, and most of the time all at once or in sequence? Well, I've been through this. And Carl Jung discovered that this isn't bad luck. It's because we possess something they've identified and fear when we awaken. Now you'll understand and learn to dominate them using exactly what they most exploit in us. If you recognized yourself in these questions, you've probably also experienced this. You enter a room, and the narcissist immediately identifies you among dozens of people. It's not a coincidence. You could be in a group of 20 people, but it's you they'll approach first. It's you whose boundaries they'll test. It's you they'll try to emotionally manipulate. And it doesn't stop there. Have you noticed how they manage to make you feel guilty for things you didn't do? How they manage to make you question your own sanity? How you leave a conversation with them feeling drained, confused, and questioning if you're a good person? This happens because you are what Carl Jung identified as a super empath. And for decades, no one explained to you that this is your greatest strength. They only showed you how it could be used against you. Carl Jung discovered something that revolutionized my understanding of this dynamic. He realized that narcissists don't choose random victims. They have an extremely developed energetic radar to identify a specific personality, the super empath. But what exactly is a super empath according to Jung's analytical psychology? It's someone who was born with an extraordinary capacity to feel others' emotions as if they were their own. You literally absorb the emotional state of people around you. When someone is sad near you, you feel the sadness. When someone is anxious, you become anxious. When someone is angry, you feel that energy like a storm inside your chest. Jung called this extreme psychic permeability. And here's the part nobody told you. Narcissists identify this in you instantly because they themselves have a heightened intuitive ability, but they use this ability to manipulate, not to connect. They notice that you feel everything more intensely. They notice that you genuinely care about others' suffering. They notice that you have difficulty establishing firm emotional boundaries. And then they do something diabolical. They transform your greatest virtue into the tool of your own destruction. The truth that nobody told you is this. Narcissists aren't attracted to weak people. They're attracted to people with such great empathic power that it can be used as a source of emotional energy. You're like an emotional power plant, and they've discovered how to connect to this plant to suck out all your strength. If you're feeling that finally someone understands your daily battle, you're not alone. Thousands of super empaths here have already discovered how to transform this gift into real power. If this makes sense to you, subscribe to the channel. This is how this community of emotional warriors grows. And this is how more people like you find the strength that Carl Jung knew they possessed. Now comes the part that changed my life and will change yours. Carl Jung discovered that super empaths can completely reverse this dynamic through what he called integration of the empathic shadow. Jung realized that every super empath has two natures. The light nature, which is this capacity to deeply feel and care, and the shadow nature, which is a fierce protective force that most never learned to access consciously. The problem is that our society taught us to completely repress our empathic shadow. We were told that feeling anger is bad. We were told that establishing boundaries is selfish. We were told that protecting ourselves energetically is a lack of love. So our shadow remained dormant, unconscious, and we remained vulnerable. But when a super empath learns to consciously integrate their shadow, something extraordinary happens. They become the narcissist's kryptonite. Jung discovered that there are 3 phases in this awakening process. First phase, recognition. You recognize that your sensitivity is not a defect to be corrected, but an extremely sophisticated emotional radar. When you feel that someone is being false with you, your body is right. When you feel that someone is emotionally manipulating, your intuition is correct. Stop questioning your instincts and start trusting them. Second phase, protection. You learn to create what Jung called conscious psychic shielding. This doesn't mean becoming cold or insensitive. It means learning to feel without absorbing. It means maintaining your compassion while protecting your energy. It's like learning to be an emotional diver. You can descend into the depths of others' feelings, but always with your protective equipment. Third phase, inversion. This is where the magic happens. You learn to use your empathic perception to read the narcissist better than they can read. You can feel exactly when they're trying to manipulate, exactly which buttons they're trying to push, and exactly how to deactivate these attempts. I'll teach you the 3 techniques that Carl Jung developed so super empaths could use their gift as protection. Technique 1. When a narcissist tries to project guilt, shame, or confusion onto you, instead of absorbing these emotions, you consciously mirror them back to them. How to do this? The moment you feel the toxic energy arriving, you mentally visualize a mirror between you and this person. The toxic emotion hits the mirror and returns to whoever sent it. But attention, this isn't done with anger or revenge. It's done with the surgical coldness of a doctor who needs to protect themselves from infection in order to help the patient. You're not attacking, you're simply refusing to be another person's emotional dump. Practical example of Technique 1, situation. Your narcissistic mother calls and starts. You never visit me, you don't care about me. I'm a terrible mother because I raised an ungrateful child. Old response, absorption. You feel immediate guilt, anxiety, and start justifying yourself desperately. That's not true, Mum. I do care. I'm sorry. I'll visit you tomorrow. Response with energy mirror. You feel the guilt coming. Activate the mental mirror and respond calmly. Mum, I understand you're upset. I'll call you on Thursday. You acknowledged without absorbing the guilt and established a clear boundary. Technique 2. Jung discovered that super empaths can learn to temporarily turn off their empathic perception when necessary. It's like having an emotional switch. When you realize you're in a manipulation situation, you consciously reduce your empathic sensitivity to 10% of normal capacity. How to practice? Imagine that your empathic sensitivity is like the volume on a radio. Normally, you live with the volume at 10. But when a narcissist enters the environment, you consciously lower it to 2 or 3. You can still function socially, but you're no longer vulnerable to emotional manipulation. Practical example of Technique 2, situation. Your narcissistic boss calls you to a meeting and starts yelling about an error that wasn't even yours, creating an environment of panic and artificial urgency. Old response, total absorption. You feel his panic as if it were your own. You get a racing heart, start sweating, and accept responsibilities that aren't yours just to calm the situation. Response with conscious disconnection. The moment he raises his voice, you mentally lower the volume of empathy to 20%. You hear his words, but don't absorb the emotion. You respond technically. I understand your concern. I'll check the data and get back to you with a solution by tomorrow. You maintain professionalism without becoming emotionally contaminated. Technique 3. This is the most advanced technique. Narcissists constantly project their own insecurities and failures onto you. They accuse you of being selfish when they are selfish. They accuse you of being manipulative when they are manipulators. They accuse you of not caring when they are incapable of genuine love. Jung taught that when you recognize a projection, you can consciously redirect it back to the source with a simple question. This thing you're saying about me, wouldn't it be something you recognize in yourself? Don't do this aggressively. Do it with genuine curiosity, as if you really wanted to understand. The result is devastating for the narcissist because it forces them to confront exactly what they're trying to avoid, their own shadow. Practical example of Technique 3. Situation. Your narcissistic partner accuses you. You're very selfish, you only think of yourself, you never care about what I need. Old response, desperate defense. That's not true. I always think of you first. Look at all I do for you. And you list 1,000 things trying to prove your worth. Response with redirection. Interesting that you say that. Or, that's your perspective about me. You acknowledge the accusation without defending it or attacking back. The narcissist will be confused because they expected you to desperately defend yourself or counterattack. Instead, you remained neutral. Advanced example, combining the 3 techniques: situation, family gathering, where your narcissistic brother starts. Our family would be perfect if you weren't so problematic and sensitive. You always create drama where there isn't any. Step 1, mirror. You feel the shame coming. Activate the mental mirror. Step 2, disconnection. Lower the empathic volume to 30%. Step 3, redirection. I understand your point of view, and immediately change the subject or withdraw from the conversation. Result? He's left without the emotional reaction he expected and without ammunition to continue the attack. When you begin to apply these techniques, you'll notice immediate changes in the dynamic. The narcissist will start behaving differently with you, and here's the most interesting part. They won't be able to explain exactly why, but they'll start avoiding direct confrontations with you. You'll know you've succeeded when they stop trying to manipulate your emotions because they feel it no longer works. It's as if you've developed an emotional immunity to their tactics. They start looking for easier targets. Narcissists are like predators. They always choose the prey that offers least resistance. When you're no longer easy prey, they naturally move away. You feel a deep sense of relief and personal power. For the first time in your life, you don't leave interactions with them feeling drained or confused. You keep your energy and mental clarity intact. But attention, prepare yourself for their reaction. When a narcissist realizes they've lost power over you, they may intensify their manipulation attempts before giving up. Jung called this an extinction burst. It's like a wounded animal that attacks more ferociously before retreating. They may try to make you feel guilty for having changed. They might say you're being cold, distant, or that you're not the same person anymore. This is exactly what you want to hear. It means the techniques are working. Most important, maintain consistency. Narcissists will test your new boundaries several times to see if you'll return to the old pattern. If you give in once, they'll intensify the tests. But if you maintain firmness, they eventually accept the new dynamic. To implement this in your daily life, you need to start small and gradually build your confidence. Let's go to some practices. Morning. Energy preparation. Before leaving home, do an energy protection exercise. Visualize a bubble of golden light around you. This bubble allows positive feelings to enter, but repels toxic energy. Practice lowering and raising the volume of your empathic sensitivity until this becomes automatic. Example of morning preparation. Before meeting your narcissistic mother-in-law for Sunday lunch, you spend 5 minutes visualizing your golden bubble. You mentally practice lowering your empathic sensitivity from 10 to 3. You program yourself. Today, I will listen to her words, but I won't absorb the toxic emotions. I will maintain my inner peace. During interactions, keep part of your attention monitoring your physical sensations. When you feel tension in your chest, acceleration of your heart, or a feeling of something is wrong, immediately activate your protection. This means lowering the empathic volume and activating the energy mirror. Example. During interaction. In the middle of lunch, your mother-in-law begins, "My son deserves more care. Look how much weight he's gained." Immediately, you feel your chest tighten, warning sign. You activate protection, lower the empathic volume, and respond calmly. Interesting perspective. You didn't absorb the criticism as personal truth and didn't give ammunition for more attacks. After conflicts, do an energy cleansing. Imagine that you're washing away all energy that isn't yours and returning it to the universe. This prevents you from carrying others' emotional residues. Example. Post-conflict. After lunch, you go to the bathroom and take 3 deep breaths. You visualize all the heavy energy leaving your body like dark smoke and rising to the universe. You mentally say, "I return to the universe all energy that isn't mine. I recover my peace and my strength." Evening. Reflection. Analyze the day's interactions. When did you feel you maintained your power? When did you feel you gave in? Without judgment, just observation. Jung said that awareness is the first step for all transformation. Example of evening reflection. You note in your diary, "Today I managed not to be affected when she criticized my cooking. I kept calm, but when she talked about children, I still felt a pang of insecurity. Tomorrow I'll practice the energy mirror more for this specific topic." Prime. The secret is to practice these techniques first with minor narcissists. That person at work who always complains, that family member who always dramatizes. When you master the technique with them, applying it with more intense narcissists becomes natural. Examples of progressive practice: beginner level, complaining coworker. Situation: colleague who always complains about life and wants you to solve their problems. Practice: use emotional disconnection. Listen with empathic volume at 30%, offer a simple suggestion, and change the subject. Intermediate level: dramatizing family member. Situation: aunt who transforms any situation into personal tragedy. Practice: combine energy mirror plus neutrality. I understand, aunt, and gently change the subject or withdraw from the conversation. Advanced level: narcissistic parent. Situation: parent who uses emotional blackmail to control your decisions. Practice: use the 3 combined techniques, maintaining love, but with firm boundaries. Remember, you're not trying to change the narcissist. That's impossible and not your responsibility. You're changing your own response to them. You're reclaiming your personal power. A super empath's journey is lonely until you discover you're not alone. If these techniques from Carl Jung made sense to you, if you felt a spark of hope that you can really change this dynamic, I want to hear about your experience. Leave in the comments. What was the situation with a narcissist that marked you the most? And now, after what you've learned here, how would you handle it differently? Your story might be exactly what another super empath needs to hear to find the courage to apply these techniques. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Remember, your empathic gift is not a curse disguised as a blessing. It is literally your superpower. You just needed to learn to use it consciously. Now you know.